One of the peculiar delights sometimes afforded to artists is the opportunity to look back on a grouping or period of one's own work and find out that one has created an inadvertent series or set of themes and variations. So it was with German New Wave director Wim Wenders and his Road trilogy of the mid-70s, a term coined by American critic Richard Roud. The first of the three, Alice in the Cities, begins with Rüdiger Vogler, Wenders' perennial blonde peripatetic protagonist traveling back to Germany after a failed attempt to capture the essence of America through his photography. The middle entry of the three films, Wrong Move, finds Vogler traveling around Germany, attempting and again failing to describe his fatherland, this time through amateurish prose writing. It is only in the final film of the series, Kings of the Road, in which the essence of words, sound, image, and feeling coalesce into a semblance of actual meaning. Nostalgia and wistfulness turn to immediacy in this film, not through navel-gazing or the self-conscious posturing of a would-be artist, but in the workaday pragmatism of the film projectionist that Vogler effortlessly embodies. His character is a conduit for art, not its creator, and so it is with his companion, a child psychologist with a background in newspaper printing. These characters struggle to understand themselves or life to any serious degree, but that doesn't stop them from accomplishing the kinds of simple, helpful tasks necessary to keep society running. It's the ultimate distillation of the medium as the message. Kings of the Road is massively wide in scope, thematically ambitious, literally long, and full of boundary-pushing shock value. And yet, humility is the effect it most leaves one with. The exchanges are light, human, and open-ended, much like a road. To travel is to exist not just in one place at one moment, but for a duration of time and space that is both eternal and finite. The same is true for a reel of film, or a pop song, or a country with a troubled history. In the 5 decades since Kings of the Road's release, Wenders has maintained his status as a giant of world cinema. His themes of meditative routine and quietly lost innocence will most likely always be relevant. But perhaps more than anything, Wenders' legacy will no doubt remain concretized as cinema's true road scholar.
Willkommen zum Kill Your Idols, ein neuen Hollywood-Podcast mit euren Hosts
Sam Ludwig
und Elena Gibson. Dieser Podcast geht zum Film. Wir sprechen hauptsächlich über Filme, Regisseure, Schauspieler und Drehbuchautoren aus der neuen Hollywood-Ära der amerikanischen Filme. Diese Ära begann 1967 mit Bonnie and Clyde und die Reefer-Prüfung und endete Anfang der 80er Jahre mit Einer mit Herz und Das Turm zum Himmel. In dieser Folge besprechen wir den nachdenklichen und schönen Film Im Lauf der Zeit von Wim Wenders aus dem Jahr 1976. And for any listeners, if you want to know what our typical intro is in English, you'll just have to listen to another episode.
Happy birthday to you. Mit happy birthday, I know you. Happy birthday, but I'm Elena Gibson. I don't know how to speak German. Happy birthday to you.
He said happy birthday. I'm you.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Like, you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Die Elena.
Thank you very much.
I had no idea you were going to do that German intro.
I know, I just sprung it on you.
Felt like I was in cabaret.
I apologize to any actual German speakers for fucking up some pronunciations.
You sounded good to me, though.
Thank you. I did take, how many years was it? 8 years worth of German classes. So
This is you getting back to your roots of film, how you got into film, this episode.
This is true. This is true. So you may have noticed this movie is not a new Hollywood movie.
But it kind of feels like it. It's very influenced by New Hollywood.
Definitely. Yeah, it's certainly still relevant to our podcast because, as you mentioned, it feels like a New Hollywood film. It's made in the 70s. It's in conversation with New Hollywood. And it's nice to look at the context, not just on the national level, but also the international level. And it's my birthday, so I wanted to, as you said, revisit my roots. I took a few film classes, specifically some German film classes in college. And I don't think we had to watch Kings of the Road for the class. I think I just did that on my own. Like, I think it was a recommended movie to check out if you wanted. And
Someone was like, do you want to see a guy take a shit? You want to see a guy just fully brick out a giant shit out of his butthole on screen?
Yeah, this movie really stuck with me. And maybe it's because you do actually see a guy take a shit on screen.
It's astounding. It's a coup de cinema at that moment.
Okay, we watched this separately.
Sorry to imply that that's like the main thing of this movie, but it does really stick out.
It does. Yeah. So I first watched it over 10 years ago, and I hadn't seen it since. I revisited it for the podcast, and we had to watch it separately because, Sam, you were sick, and so we were isolating.
You were about to take a trip because you didn't want to get sick.
Right, I didn't want to get sick, so I didn't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
So we watched it remotely. You watched it with your other partner. Mm-hmm. What were your reactions when the shit happened?
10 out of 10 masterpiece. Worth the price of admission. Well, I mean, it was amazing because I wrote in my notes, I was like, whoa, he's actually taking a shit. It's a full log coming out. And he said he was just going to pee. That's kind of the most astounding thing is they set you up. And in fact, like this movie, I mean, we'll talk about this, it was all improvised. And that shit scene was they just took it was improvised chronologically, right? Like everything, they decided what was going to happen next.
Yeah, they were writing it as they went along.
Yeah, and they took a bathroom break, the crew, and they were like, okay, can I watch you pee?
They wanted to film him peeing.
They wanted to film him peeing. The character's like, I have to go pee. You see that in the movie.
Yeah.
And they filmed a take of him peeing, and, okay, I need another take. And he's
they fucked something up.
I don't have any pee left. So it's like, okay, you want to take a shit? And they just left it in. I mean, it was like this increasing, dare situation between him and the editor, or do you want to talk about this?
Once he started taking a shit, they were like, well, let's just keep rolling, why not? But Wenders, the director, he always thought it would get cut out, but then the editor was like, no, Rudiger took a shit on screen. Let's honor that. Leave it in. But he himself was kind of joking around,
right.
Because he also, like you said, the editor kind of wanted to dare Wenders to leave it in. And so towards the end of putting the film together, he's like, okay, well, we still have to cut that shit scene. And Wenders was like, you know what? Let's leave it in. And then it got accepted in Cannes, but Cannes was like, you have to take that shitting scene out.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, I'm leaving it in.
This is kind of the tail end of people really pushing the envelope with shit in media. You obviously have Pink Flamingos a couple of years before. And by the way, this shit puts the Pink Flamingos shit to shame.
Yes.
I mean,
it's a lot of shit, and
it's the 2001 of shit. This is moving cinema forward decades. There's scat videos that would love to have this shit. It is a really effective piece of on-screen shitting. But this is like a time when people were viewing this as the final frontier. Waters, that was the whole point of ending Pink Flamingos with that, is he's like, well, I mean, they don't eat shit in Kings of the Road.
Yeah, eating shit is a whole
Eating shit
level.
It is further thing. But yeah, shit was the final taboo in the mid-70s. I feel like this movie is kind of the very end of that. And Gravity's Rainbow in 1972 didn't get the Pulitzer Prize. They didn't give out a Pulitzer Prize that year because there was like a shit-eating scene in it. This was really a moment where people were trying to get us to this place. And I feel like they lost interest in it.
I mean, maybe
we're front-loading this with a lot of shit talk, but
maybe, maybe Kings of the Road just did it too well,
Yeah.
But okay, here's the thing about the shit scene that Wim Wenders points out on the commentary track. I believe is where he points it out.
And you just imagine he's just sitting in a room watching and commenting on this footage that he shot of his friend, just absolutely logging it.
The thing is, they did not build up a lot of fanfare around him taking the shit. They didn't really emphasize it or anything. It's a very quiet moment. And there's no other character around reacting to it.
What fanfare could they have built up around
there's
this?
like music or like it doesn't feel like the movie's trying to shock you the way they show you that shit scene.
No.
He's in the middle of
Very unassuming.
Dune, a sand dune.
Yeah.
And he's just squats and then poop comes out. And then he pulls his pants up and that's it. And you're like, I think I just saw a man actually take a shit on screen. I mean, you definitely, like, there was no question. You definitely saw that. And then we're moving past it and it's quiet and it's clearly just presented as a very human thing to do. And so therefore, Wenders says it just really fits with the whole movie. And
unassuming heroism of everyday life, if you will.
Yes. And so if you are listening to this podcast and you're like, man, I can't wait to watch that movie and see that shit scene, you might be surprised about how it just slips in there as a very regular moment.
Yeah, it's not the big climax of the movie. It's kind of early.
Yeah.
And his diet must have been amazing. He talked about, they eat a bratwurst at one point in the movie. And
it made me really want bratwurst.
Me too. And Wenders is like, this is pretty much all we ate the whole time. And I'm like, damn, no fiber and he's getting a shit that good?
Okay, I actually didn't think it looked like that good of a shit. Like, it looked a little wet to me.
No. Oh, we got to post this on our social media and just let the fans judge.
I'm not posting a video of a man taking a shit on our Instagram.
It didn't look wet to me.
Well, maybe your scale.
Your teeth are getting gritted the further we continue this conversation. What is this movie about? Why did you pick this movie? What other than the shit, which I know you love, did you respond to? Or what did you remember about this? I don't know. Answer whatever you want.
Right. This movie stuck with me. And what I remember about it was that it was peaceful and quiet and lovely. And I remembered male friendship. But otherwise, I didn't remember that much about it, which I think tracks because it's kind of not much happens. It's funny because it's not usually the kind of movie I would gravitate towards. I'm not a huge fan of slow cinema. Although now that I'm reflecting on Kings of the Road and Wim Wenders films in general, it makes me think maybe I do have a place in my appreciation for film for slow cinema. Maybe I need to watch more slow cinema. It's just
Is this really slow cinema?
I would absolutely consider this slow cinema. I mean, maybe not by some people's standards. Maybe there's like way slower cinema out there, but I would totally consider this slow cinema.
I mean, it's a 3-hour movie in which there is no real story, but there's plenty of incident in this.
Yeah, but it's all gentle and quiet.
It's gentle cinema.
It's so quiet. There's very little dialogue. Right.
But there's like a boner in it too. Sorry, I shouldn't keep saying all of the shocking elements to it, but I do feel that I didn't know that it was improvised the first time I watched it, but I think that energy is clear when you watch the movie. We don't need to quibble about it being like slow cinema or not or whatever, but like I feel like slow cinema is often more planned out. This does have a sort of tossed off nature. It feels like a real like early like indie, like American indie movie. I mean, Wenders I think of as being like a real 80s indie kind of guy, even back in the 70s.
One thing that really contributes to that feeling is the cinematographer Robbie Mueller, he was a frequent collaborator with Wim Wenders, but he also worked with a lot of other prominent directors like Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah, it feels like a Jarmusch movie.
Yeah, it really does. And like he shot the Jarmusch movies Down by Law, Dead Man, Mystery Train, Ghost Dog, Coffee and Cigarettes. So, like a lot of like the big ones. And he worked with Peter Bogdanovich a little bit, and he also worked with Lars von Trier. He did Breaking the Waves and Dancer in the Dark, and he shot 24-Hour Party People.
And those are all indies.
Yeah.
Those are all like very what I grew up on.
Right.
Kind of shit.
So I think the connection there, like I think Robbie Mueller really is one of the auteurs of this film.
Yeah, well, they based it on a bunch of photographs.
Yeah, the visual style is inspired by Walker Evans and his photos of the U.S. during the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm. So you don't normally respond to slow cinema, but you respond to this movie. This is one of a set of 3 movies. Perhaps I don't know if it's the most famous one.
I feel like Alice in the Cities is the most famous. So it's Alice in the Cities, Wrong Move, and Kings of the Road, and he made them like one year after another.
And you didn't want to do one of those?
No. I mean, maybe part of it is
Justify your birthday, honey.
Kings of the Road is the first Wim Wenders film I'd seen. And so that might have influenced it. It might be the first Wenders film is the one that sticks with you the most. But I like that it's quiet. I tend to be impacted by a lack of dialogue, maybe more than other people. So
she said bragging.
No, not bragging. Like everybody's got their own taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you respond to the quiet moments of just the guys sitting. I feel like you often describe this movie to me as like, the movie about like the 2 guys.
Yeah.
Like the male friendship.
Yeah. I picture them driving their
interest
truck.
you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, it left an impression. It's one of those things where it's like, I think when I watched it, I didn't have any huge reaction to it, but over the years, I just thought about it.
You've brought it up before.
Yeah, I brought it up before, and I wanted to revisit it, and I'm glad that I did. And
Is Wenders one of your guys?
I do list Wenders as one of my guys, but it's in a weird way.
Okay, you see what I'm saying, right? Like it's,
No, I do consider Wenders to be one of my guys, but it's one of those situations where like none of his movies are my all-time favorite movies. But I love him as a director, and it's so strange because I really love falling asleep to Wim Wenders films.
You fell asleep to this one.
I fell asleep to this one. I have tried to watch Wings of Desire 3 separate times, and I fall asleep each time, and yet I consider it to be an excellent movie, despite the fact that I've only seen like the first third of it.
Right,
and,
you haven't even gotten to the big switch, right?
Which you spoiled for me on an air on one of these episodes.
Yeah.
So it's like this really weird situation for me with Wenders films where I love falling asleep to them, but I don't actually feel the need to finish them the next day. I know that sounds like an insult.
That's a special director there. Yeah.
I just know that sounds like an insult to the films, but it's not to me. Like, I think there's something really magical about being able to create such a peaceful, relaxing atmosphere.
It's like a day in your life that you've lived and you don't need to relive.
Yeah.
If you will.
Sure. I don't know. I know it sounds like I don't truly love him, but I do though. So
I'm not saying do you truly love him.
I feel like you're asking me these questions of like, why'd you pick this?
No, I love this. I love this movie. I think this movie is awesome. And I'm just trying to bring out like stuff that you care about this movie.
Well, what is
it about the movie, the magic of projectionists?
I do love seeing all
It's
the
a German
cool-
movie and you like Germans.
I like German stuff.
Yeah.
I love seeing all the cool old-timey projection machine things. Projectors, that's the word.
Yeah, projection thingamabob. This is a movie that is about changing technology.
Yeah, okay, so what the movie is about is you got this guy, his name is...
Wenders in the commentary just calls him the king of the road.
Right.
The other guy is Kamikaze.
But his last name is Winters. Rudiger Volker in the Wim Wenders films, his last name is usually Winters for the different characters. And he usually has a similar job. It's usually involving film in some way. Sometimes he's writing films. Sometimes, in this case, he's a projectionist or like repairs projectors.
He's less of a sourpuss in this movie than the other two.
Yeah.
I think he kind of wanted to play charming.
This is my favorite of his performance.
Well, he smiles a little bit, and I do like that facial hair.
You know what? Me too. I don't usually go for facial hair, but it works for me, and I think I have a crush on him.
Oh, he's cute as hell.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And then they give you full frontal nudity right in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I liked that.
It was another dare.
Was it?
He was like, I bet you won't let me shoot you naked. And he's like, yeah, I will.
He was down.
He was
down for stuff.
He was super down. And I mean, and like I think he could tell that he was making something incredible with this trilogy. But with him shaving, there's this running theme of him not being able to shave because he like keeps putting his shaving stuff on like a door or something, and somebody opens the door and.
I like that.
And I'm like,
little running gag.
Yes, don't shave. Don't let him shave.
Keep it.
Yeah.
I liked his like overalls. He looked good. And then that scene where he's flirting with the girl at the bumper cars.
With the Hitler candle.
The leather jacket. The Hitler candle was very funny. Yeah, he was very sexy in that scene. Anyways, he's got this truck. He's driving around and he fixes projectors. And an important thing here is his route that he takes. It goes right along the border between East Germany and West Germany.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily explicit about that in the movie, but it is felt. He's stopping along the way at all these small rundown towns to fix the projectors in these movie theaters that are going out of business. Along the way, he encounters this guy, Lander, who Wenders refers to as Kamikaze, who attempts suicide, but then gets picked up by Winters, Rudiger Volker's character. And
this is the only scene they had written.
Yeah.
At the beginning was he drives his car into a lake and...
No, into the river. It's the Elbow
Into the river, yes, sorry.
Because it's kind of like the border.
He drives this car into water. This was the only, special effect that they really had to spend a lot of time on. It's like they had to crash a car into the water and then fish it out again.
Yeah, apparently while they were filming that scene, like the police on the East Germany side were like, crowding the bank and getting angry, but they just ignored that. They kept filming.
Yeah. And so that was the only thing they had written, was this scene where the two guys meet. Guy crashes his car into a river and comes out, and then everything else they made up as they went along.
Yeah.
And so they're along the east, they're on the western side of the river.
Right.
And this is a very westernized world. They're listening to American and British pop music. The influence of American film is very present. They talk about the West has colonized their minds.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, you got East and West Germany, and Eastern Germany was kept secluded from so much stuff. And then Western Germany, obviously, America was occupying it. So, yeah.
I mean, like this, like American pop music stuff, I would say is very present in Wim Wenders' filmography.
Yeah, although isn't a lot of the music in this movie actually a British pop band?
Some of it is, yeah, for sure. And some of it is a German band. But
100%, like, there is a very strong influence of American culture.
And it's it's Wenders' record collection.
Yeah.
And this is the same as kind of Perfect Days, the movie that came out last year.
Yeah, about the man in Japan cleaning toilets.
Yes, which, by the way, again, I noticed Wenders is obsessed with booths.
Booths?
Yeah, there's the bathroom booths in Perfect Days, the nudie booths in Paris, Texas, and this is all like everyone's in a booth, a film projection booth. He likes an enclosure.
He likes little compartments. Yeah.
And he likes infrastructure. And this is an exploration of crumbling infrastructure, old and new. I mean, he's a real sort of documenter of the changing landscape of these small towns and cities in Germany.
Yeah.
In a transitional period.
Right. As you mentioned, it was all improvised. The only scene they had written out ahead of time was when they meet. The one thing they did have was a route. So Wenders went ahead of time and picked out what little towns he wanted to film at and which movie theaters he wanted to film in. And that was what shaped the movie, is these different locations and these towns they were in. And like structures, like that one scene where they encounter the man whose wife just recently died by suicide. He's like at the top of this like metal mill structure. I don't quite know what it was, but it was cool, and he's throwing rocks down it. It's making a really loud clanging noise. Like, the stuff that happens in the film is very much shaped by the environment they're filming in.
Totally.
I wanted to ask you, what is your relationship with Wim Wenders films?
Paris, Texas, I think, is a huge movie in my development. And then I think about, there's that line in, did you ever see the movie Frank?
Yeah, I've seen Frank. The one where he's like got that head.
Big head, right?
Yeah.
It's all through the eyes of the main character, who's kind of a poser, who's like obsessed with art, and he like wants to be an artist, but he's not. And they go to South by Southwest, and he's like, it's just like Paris, Texas.
That's so funny.
I just always think about that, because like that was just such an early Criterion movie, I think. Like that was a really, and of course we saw on one of our first dates when we went to see Zabriskie Point, there was a trailer of Paris, Texas that they were showing.
Very well.
And we're like, yeah, man, God, we're in a fucking movie where they have a trailer for Paris, Texas beforehand, There was also a trailer for Battle of Algiers and these touchstones.
Yeah, what was that one?
Oh, a red rain.
Red with a little bit of
red rain with a little bit of blue in it.
Yeah.
The Iranian purple rain.
It's Nigerian.
Okay.
So.
All right, it's Nigerian. Anyways, I think of Wenders as having an aesthetic that I appreciate, even if I don't always. And Wings of Desire would be another one that I saw young, because I knew my dad was really into that movie. He's like an indie filmmaker.
His early stuff he said he was really influenced by John Cassavetes.
Yeah, no, you can totally see that. He's one of these people like a Herzog, who I think just has this, like, he's a German director, but he's a citizen of the world. He's not just tied to Germany. He's an international independent filmmaker. We saw Perfect Days last year, and I think both of us were kind of on it. That's his first movie that's really gotten poked through in a while.
I remember when Pina was really big, but that was a little while ago.
I think I saw that.
I saw it, not in 3D, because I watched it on my computer. I kind of wish I had seen it in 3D, but it's like a dance documentary. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was really cool. I think there was like a sequence where people were dancing to Rites of Spring, and I really liked it. But yeah, Perfect Days was a recent one that a lot of people were talking about. I viewed it the way I view most Wenders films, as like peaceful, a little boring, but peaceful.
Yeah, well, okay, so we watched. So what do you think? Do you want to talk about the Road trilogy? Is this your favorite of those? Did you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Of Alice in the Cities, Wrong Move, and Kings of the Road. Kings of the Road is definitely my favorite.
Why?
Well, I think you put it well in your intro that it feels like it has more meaning than the other two, but also though, like, it's the silence for me that does it. Like, the silence just adds a poeticism.
The characters in the other two movies are, specifically the Vogler characters at least, are very bitter.
Yeah.
And they're unhappy. I mean, like Alice in the Cities, I think you can grab onto in a way easily because it's almost like the kind of like a studio 90s movie in a way. This guy gets saddled with a young girl that he's got to take care of, and he learns a valuable lesson, except maybe he doesn't. It's like Big Daddy almost or something, you know?
I don't know.
You don't know what I'm
Big
talking
Daddy
about?
is.
You don't know what Big Daddy is?
No.
The Adam Sandler movie?
Oh, I just kind of try to avoid all Adam Sandler stuff.
But you know what I'm saying. It could be a 90s studio comedy of like this guy who's got to tag along with this annoying little girl, and he's going to learn about responsibility, and he's just wants to be a Rolling Stone and doesn't want to.
Well, you know what it's like? He almost didn't make the movie because he saw Paper Moon.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
oh shit, Bogdanovich already made my movie.
Well, it's way better.
Then he almost didn't make it, but then Samuel Fuller, the director, was like, no, just do it anyways. And so he like rewrote it.
It's got its own thing going on.
It does have its own thing going on, but Paper Moon is a full-on story, and Alice in the Cities is a lot of meandering, just like all of Wenders' films are.
Yeah. Kings of the Road, a lot of Last Picture Show influence.
For sure.
Too. So
Yeah.
Bogdanovich clearly a little bit in his head, I think.
Right, and that's new German cinema being in conversation with New Hollywood. Wenders was very much aware of New Hollywood and was influenced by it. There's a scene where they're riding around on a motorcycle in a sidecar, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is Easy Rider.
Yeah.
And then on the commentary track, Wenders is like, well, of course, this is an Easy Rider scene. Obviously there.
Wrong Move, the middle film, I would say the least good one.
I don't know about the
Maybe not.
But he's going for like an absurdism, like kind of like a like Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie or like a Godard type thing, where like the character is just like rambling and then
It's very written.
Odd stuff happens. Yeah, it's very written.
As opposed to Kings of the Road.
There's so contrasted.
Yeah.
Like there's constant dialogue, whether
Right.
it's internal dialogue or actual dialogue, a lot of it meaningless, compared to like Kings of the Road where there's very little dialogue at all. And part of that is because Wim Wenders wrote the dialogue for Kings of the Road, and he himself admits that he is not the best at writing dialogue. So he probably was like, well, let me put as little of it in as possible.
Let's put that discussion a little bit aside, because I do want to get into the notion of the odd quality that this dialogue scene to scene being made up adds to the film. But
Yeah.
compared to the other movies, there's a central relationship in Alice in the Cities
Right.
between the two lead characters.
The young girl and Winters.
Yeah. And Wrong Move is, like you say, it's this sort of silly setup where it's a guy, he's going on his own, and people just sort of magnetize onto him.
Yeah.
And he gathers a crew of people that are then all go on adventures together.
I mean, all three films involve Rudiger Volker, the actor, accumulating one or multiple people to travel with.
Yeah. And in Kings of the Road, it's a little bit more like things accumulate.
They collect items.
Right. And the items pay off a little
Yeah.
bit. It's kind of a fun structure. But Kings of the Road is a little bit more just these two guys interacting with environments.
Yeah, which is, I say, like, Alice in the Cities, like, is kind of like that, except I don't feel like they interact with their environments enough, maybe.
Well, there's a story going on with Alice. I mean, and a relationship. You don't really know what's going on between the two men in Kings of the Road. They're both sort of lost, and they don't exactly have a goal. I mean, Vogler does. He's going around to fix these projectors, but the other guy is his passenger and is along for the ride. And the other guy is sort of on an existential journey. He's left a marriage and is trying to find himself.
Yeah, I would say that they are both avoiding life.
Mm-hmm.
Lander's character is temporarily avoiding life as he's grieving his lost marriage. But you get the sense that, like, this is a little break for him. Whereas Winter's character, the truck driver, projector repairer, he has been avoiding life for a long time. He's been doing this for a while and not really interacting with people. And this is something that Lander at the end calls him out for and says, like, you need to start interacting with the world more. And he says he'll try.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a nobility to Vogler's vocation. He's this one person who knows how to fix these projectors.
Yeah, it's like single-handedly trying to save the dying German film industry.
He will become obsolete eventually.
Right.
And also, this is also, the other guy, Kamikaze, you're calling him Landers?
Lander, Kamikaze.
Yeah. He comes from a printing press family. I don't know if they're specifically linotypes, but the 70s, we haven't really talked about this that much on this podcast, but the 70s was a real time of the beginnings of the technological revolution and the putting away of things like these analog printing presses, old projectors. It was a time when computers were just about to take over. And everything was about to shift in this way from this more industrial age to a technological age, right? And it's kind of amazing that Wenders is clearly very aware of this in the moment, and it's a thing that he is capturing before it disappears. These people they are delightfully not they're not too filled in as characters. And because they don't start off as having this motivation, yes, they're avoiding life, but it's not in this way that's super psychologically laid out. We are all avoiding life in a way.
Yeah, it doesn't feel contrived the way a lot of movies do, where a lot of movies you have a character and here's their one issue that they have. That's what the whole plot is surrounding, is how they're going to deal with their big flaw, because that's what makes a good character in a movie. That's not the case. Like you said, yeah, they're avoiding life, but despite the constant threat of suicide that hangs over this whole film, Lander's suicide attempt in the beginning, partway through, we see a man whose wife had just died by suicide. And then there was a scene where they're putting on a shadow puppet show for the kids. Yeah. And it's a really delightful scene, really fun. But there's a noose just swinging in the scene. And so at one point, Lander stands really close to a train that goes really quickly by, and you're worried for him. So that's hanging over all of this. They are struggling with their own personal demons. And yet it's still a very gentle, peaceful film.
At a certain point, it does fill in their quote-unquote backstories, which were made up on the spot. They made up the day they decided to film them what they were going to be.
Lander, coming from a newspaper family background, they just were including all these shots of local newspapers in each of the towns they were in, and then suddenly decided, you know what, let's use this. He's clearly interested in newspapers. Why is he interested in them?
Yeah, and it makes sense. And he goes and he interacts with his father, and they allude to him having issues with him and him being a domineering force that never let his mother speak or something. I mean, maybe this is a good time to talk about Wenders' strange ineptitude with dialogue.
That scene's my least favorite scene in the whole movie. And it actually, for me,
but it comes around to being good.
Down.
Yeah, so you don't like that backstory. Because I kind of don't like the other guy's backstory.
I don't like either of their visits to their back.
Okay.
I like their little motorcycle trip.
Yeah.
That's cute. But when they get to the island, I'm like, nothing's happening.
I really don't like King of the Road's cabin and his mother, or him crying about being poor. Is that what it is?
Is that what it is? I didn't.
But this is kind of good because we don't know exactly what it is that they're sad about. They're just kind of sad about their life.
I thought it was emphasizing again, technology moving on. Now that they have the barge system in the river, the island is not habitable anymore.
Okay.
And so that's how I interpreted Winter's background story, King of the Road's background story. But it's all very hand wavy. And then Lander's the thing that bothers me is he confronts his father and he just says listen to me. But then he doesn't say anything, and it just feels very weak. And I think I preferred my first viewing where I didn't know that the movie was improvised, because knowing that the movie was improvised, this most recent time I watched it, I just felt them spinning their wheels searching for meaning.
Right.
And that takes me out of the movie. And I felt that the hardest in the scene where Landers confronts his father. And it, to me, brings the whole movie down. I still love this movie, but I wish that scene didn't happen.
I do think that right now we are ruining anybody's first watch of the movie, because I do think it is better to not know that they didn't plan anything in those moments.
Right.
When you watch it and not knowing that, you're like, yeah, this is kind of real. Like when you go to confront your parents and you're like, no, just, I have a problem. And they're like, okay, what's your problem? And it's like, oh, shut up. Like, you know, I mean, it's like, that's just kind of what it's like sometimes because you don't know exactly what the problem is. But for me, I don't think it ruins it quite to know that it's improvised. I find it funnier now knowing that, like, it almost adds an extra element where I'm seeing like, oh, it's like, wow. But like that other scene where after they do the shadow play for the kids.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, King of the Road is like, I didn't like doing that. Like, I feel like you just kind of started doing this thing and then I was following you and it felt very fake and weird. And the other guy's like, I was just doing it because you were doing it.
I thought that was funny. I
think it's super funny too, but it's also just funny to think about them like just going back over what they shot that day. And they're just like, should we just have them negate that? You know? There just is an ambient level of existential dread in Germany that they're feeding on.
This maybe is a good transition to talk about the history of German cinema and what the new German cinema is.
Sure. I mean, I'm mostly just talking about the history of Germany, the place, and this ambient level of post-Nazi, like, what the fuck did we just do kind of thing.
But like that's connected with the history of German cinema. Right. For sure.
We don't necessarily need to explain World War II.
No.
But just this is 30 years after World War II.
Right.
So, and these people, it's like they were born at the height of Hitler's power. These people are like, they were children in World War II, and now they're angsty adults whose parents were Nazis, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So they just kind of have weird feelings they need to process.
Yeah, like the new German cinema directors, these like 70s German cinema directors, their version of New Hollywood is the new German cinema.
And it predates New Hollywood, the manifesto that started it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll go into a bit more detail. But one of their goals that some of them had was, so like post-war Germany, there was this idea that Germany was atoning for everything and righting their wrongs. But some of the 70s German directors felt like people were being hypocritical about it, and they still had ex-Nazis in power. So a goal of some of those directors was, as one person put it in an article I read, it was to rub the German public's noses in their lingering prejudices. Like, for example, the movie Ali, Fear Eats the Soul is kind of calling out people's prejudice for, you know, having a relationship with an immigrant.
Wenders, Fassbinder, and Herzog, I would say, would be the three most recognizable names associated with the new German cinema.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I would say those are the
Fassbinder's probably kind of the main guy who really did it in that period.
Yeah, he like he's super prolific.
Tied to that era.
But Wenders and Herzog
But they did stuff later, too.
Yeah,
like, Fassbinder, I think, of the 70s.
Died.
Yeah, right.
So
Sorry.
But yeah, Fassbinder was like maybe the one who drove it the most, although he's my least favorite of the three. There were also a good amount of female directors, like Margareta von Trotta, for example.
Germany's good at movies.
Okay, let's talk about the history of German cinema. Okay?
They were killing it in the 20s.
Yeah,
they
20s
were the guys.
And 30s.
Yeah.
German Expressionism. We're talking Cabinet and Dr. Caligari, Metropolis, Nosferatu, M.
The Mabusa,
Pandora's Box, Blue Angel.
It's the best shit.
It's really good movies.
They were top of the game.
Those movies are like transgressive.
Yes.
And era defining and very visually striking. This is like super influential. I mean, Fritz Lang, in case you didn't know, he did like Metropolis and M. Kings of the Road is dedicated to Fritz Lang. Clearly, Wenders is paying homage to this rich history of German cinema that was then lost because, as you mentioned, World War II happened. So a lot of German filmmakers, obviously the Jewish German filmmakers, fled Germany, and a lot of them came over to the U.S. and contributed to the film noir era of American cinema. So, and during that time in Germany, what was happening was that you've got these outright Nazi propaganda films, like think Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will, but then they also realized that outright propaganda doesn't work super well, so then they started making these like escapist films that had fascist undertones, like Adventures of Baron Munchausen, where you're glorifying a national hero who believes in self-sacrifice for the common good. You've got these escapist films. And then in post-war Germany, you still are following the trend of escapism because they had what were called Heimat films in the 50s and early 60s. And Heimat films, that's like hometown films. That's kind of a loose translation of that. And they're films that are focusing on like a pre-war, pre-industrial era Germany. They're often shot in like the idyllic countryside, sentimental, simple morals, and like love and family and friendship. And so in the 60s, the young German directors were like, this is bullshit. Like, we had such a thriving history of German cinema.
And they were inspired by the French New Wave.
For sure. They were inspired by the French New Wave, but like they also were mourning what was lost in their own film culture.
Yes.
And that currently in Germany, they were just making these like bullshit escapist films.
They were trying to get back partially, but they were also trying to shake things up because they had a very staid film culture.
Right. They had similar influences as the New Hollywood era. So they like French New Wave, Italian neorealism, and then also later in the 70s, they were influenced by New Hollywood itself.
But yeah, there's a distinction that's sometimes drawn between the avant-garde, quote, young German cinema of the 60s and the more accessible new German cinema of the 1970s. So it's kind of like the European movies of the 60s versus the New Hollywood.
Right.
Which, as we said before, is not as avant-garde as the movements that influenced it.
Right. The 60s was more avant-garde than 70s films.
Yeah, 70s are trying to marry entertainment value with new techniques. But they did this manifesto. Do you want to talk about that manifesto?
Yeah, like in 1962, there was basically a call to arms issued by a group of young filmmakers.
We want short films.
The manifesto was called the Oberhausen Manifesto. Do you want to do it? Because like I feel like I've been talking a lot.
The decline of conventional German cinema has taken away the economic incentive that imposed a method that, to us, goes against the ideology of film. A new style of film must have the chance to come alive. Short movies by young German screenwriters, directors, and producers have achieved a number of international festival awards in the last few years and have earned respect from the international critics. Their accomplishment and success has shown that the future of German films are in the hands of people who speak a new language of film. In Germany, as already in other countries, short film has become an educational and experimental field for feature films. We are announcing our aspiration to create this new style of film. Film needs to be more independent, free from all usual conventions by the industry, free from control of commercial partners, free from the dictation of stakeholders. We have detailed spiritual, structural, and economic ideas about the production of new German cinema. Together, we're willing to take any risk. Conventional film is dead. We believe in the new film. These are rather modest goals, I might say. They're basically just saying, like, we declare movies should be better. We think the old ones are shitty. We don't like that. So we are going to do things differently. It's very like Students of a Democratic Society, like, we believe in creativity and like, we're anti the old ways, man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're saying we declare art exists now.
Right. The slogan associated with it is Papa's Kino ist tot, which is like your father's cinema is dead.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Time for the young people to make some cool shit.
Yeah. And what would you say, what do you think characterizes? I mean, it's a little more realism based, I guess, is like the idea.
Yeah, so they're influenced by these artsy film movements, like in France and stuff, but it's more political, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Their politics are radical, typically more towards like socialism than capitalism. They're specifically confronting post-Nazi Germany, and it's like anti-bourgeois, big focus on historical reflection and like personal autobiographical stories.
Auteurism, it's very pro-auteurism.
Yes.
Which Kings of the Road is a true auteurist work, and Wenders is like, I needed to kind of move away from that after this. I think I was too much doing everything myself with this.
Right. Maybe I should hire somebody to like write actual good dialogue.
And that's what he did later. This was kind of the height of his taking on this auteurist label.
He only had like a crew of 12 people.
Right.
Making this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the phrase personal is political is associated with this film movement, as well as, you know, other movements. But yeah, it's just like guilt and lingering fascism comes into play a lot in these movies in a way that other new wave film movements, it doesn't play as big of a role.
Yeah, there's the way that they distributed it. They built their own company, and it's connected to TV.
I do want to talk about their company, but first let's just talk about the subsidization.
Yeah.
It was heavily subsidized.
Yeah.
So the movies that were made during New German Cinema era, they weren't financially successful with the German public.
Right.
Like they gained critical acclaim abroad, but not really in Germany.
Yeah, because it's all like, we're Nazis. Like,
Stop criticizing us.
yeah, right.
But the German government subsidized it. So, for example, there was the Federal Film Board in the 70s, and they would deduct 6 cents from every movie ticket sold, and then they would distribute the resulting money up amongst the German filmmakers. There was also money available through the film section of the Ministry of the Interior in Bonn.
So this is like if we, the director's company, the failed thing that Coppola, Bogdanovich, and Friedkin tried to do.
Right.
If we'd had government subsidies for that,
yeah,
that could have worked.
Yeah, because there was also, okay, real quick, there was also TV subsidization. I saw one thing that said that part of the reason maybe these movies weren't financially successful was because they were subsidized by TV. They would often play on TV first, and then like nobody would go see it in theaters because they already saw it on TV. That changed in 1974. But a number of the new German directors all co-owned a company called the Filmverlag der Autoren, and it was styled after the Verlag der Autoren in Frankfurt, which was an association of stage writers who published their own works. So they were designing their own company based off of this. And it's basically a successful version of what Coppola and all those guys were trying to do.
We can't ever do anything cool like this in America. Like, it would be so fucking sick if we had actual... Like, people are always making fun of, the National Endowment for the Arts or whatever, and, like, they're like, how dare they subsidize this bullshit? If only they were actually subsidizing anything cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think one of the things is, like, because American cinema is the most prominent cinema in the world, you don't need to subsidize it.
It already exports well. Like, these are products that are advertising the country, making Germany okay to like in the 70s and stuff. So,
like, there is reason why the government would want to subsidize, whereas there's not an incentive in America for that. But it's such a shame. Yeah. Because it created freedom for these directors to do whatever the fuck they wanted.
It's not like this movie was very expensive to make either.
No, but I don't know. Like, notable films that were made by this film Verlag. Well, this
like
film.
Agira, Wrath of God.
Agira, Wrath of God. The Enigma of Caspar Hauser. The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant. Ali Fears the Soul, which we don't like, but that's okay. Yeah. I mean, and then this like company ended around the 80s because it was bought by the publisher of Der Spiegel. A lot of the auteurs were like, okay, let's fucking leave.
The dream is dead.
Yeah, it's dead. And then they started distributing more like mainstream content.
And they all kind of went to America again then. Like Herzog and...
Yeah, Wenders made My American Friend, right? I want to see that one. It's got Dennis Hopper in it.
I know. It's a Ripley movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. New German cinema. This has just got me into like the idea of these conscious manifestos and declarations that people made, like Dogma 95.
Lars von Trier's.
Yeah, I mean, it was him and I think Thomas Vinterberg. Yeah, like people who like just arbitrarily make rules. They can be like as ambitious or as unambitious as they want, and these movements almost always collapse very quickly, and they're often people make like one movie under these strictures and they just don't follow them. And I love that. I love the ambition. Somebody made a new Dogma. There was somebody that made a Dogma 25 in 2020, and then somebody else was like, no, I'm making Dogma 25 in 2025. You know what like the Dogma rules are and stuff. Do you want to go through
like
this?
Minimalism and
it's like
that?
you have to use all diegetic music. You have to use natural lighting. You can't use like makeup and shit. You can't credit yourself as the director or something. Like it's like you have to credit somebody else as the director, maybe.
That's weird.
You're rolling your eyes at this? You don't like Dogma 95?
I mean, I like Lars von Trier movies, but
you don't like rules. You don't want people to make rules for other people.
No, rules are cool. Well, okay.
Because I feel like there's no ambition really in the new German cinema in the Oberhausen statement.
Yeah,
it's basically just like we declare movies shouldn't be so crappy.
So Sam decided we should each write a manifesto. And so we did. And we're going to read them.
We don't know what each other's manifestos are.
We don't.
Yeah.
Sam's going to go first.
All right, so my manifesto is comprised of, realizing now, of some rules for creators and some rules just for people who are watching stuff.
Okay.
It's like partially a way to make stuff and partially a way to take in stuff.
Okay.
Rule number 1, no character can, is a series of rules, like Dogma 95.
Okay.
No character can say a phrase that has been in a popular meme. Even if you are an alcoholic attending your first AA meeting while covered in molten lava, you are not coming in hot. 2, art is not dangerous or frightening, and though it may be challenging at some times, it is meant to enrich us, not annoy us or intimidate us into running away from it, and only watching/reading/listening to mindless crap all the time. This is a directive for the artist and the consumers alike. 3, the work and the characters can and should be political and exist within a political reality, but their actions need not nor should they carry any inherent political message, nor should they represent an immediately recognizable political idea. 4, the need for stars should be de-emphasized to the point of negligence. This is just reality of now, I think. There should be no expectation that any pre-existing star will attract an audience to any particular film that the film deserves or is likely to garner. Like, you shouldn't expect that a star matched with a film, it's like, oh, that's the right person who's going to make the right people go to watch this movie, okay? No more movies about the magic of movies, at least not for 10 years. No biopics. Make characters based loosely on historical personages or inspired by them. Amalgamate and regenerate.
Wait, you like biopics. I don't, but you do.
Again, these are just rules. That doesn't mean you have to follow them, okay?
Okay, I assume they're rules that you stand by.
It's a manifesto, okay? The goal, that's what I'm saying. Dogma 95, like, they made like one movie and then just disregarded it.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please interrupt. You should interrupt more. The goal of art is to buoy, impress, exhilarate, or in some way represent the feeling of fun. Even the most depressing tale in the world should do this. Performances should be allowed to be bigger and more theatrical, even in stately dramas about dull, remote people. Art should not valorize people or experiences that are, quote, relatable to some sort of paradigmatic, regular person. No, we do not all just want the same thing, and even if we did, it is not just to eat sandwiches. And yes, even if we do want that, there is nothing ordinary about eating a sandwich, nor is there anything quirky or weird or cute about it either.
I can't stand when, like, there's this quirky female character who really likes to eat. I hate it so much.
I really hate this idea of, this is just me editorializing about my own rule. I just saw this movie, like, Good Fortune.
The Keanu Reeves one?
Keanu Reeves, Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen thing. Did I say this on a previous episode? I don't know. But, like, as a person who doesn't have a college degree, as one of the 2/3 of Americans who doesn't have a college degree, it is so fucking annoying when movies about, like, socialism or the inequality crisis in America are, like, seen through the eyes of an everyman who is some person who, like, I went to college. I did everything right. And why am I not, succeeding? Why do I have to be a rideshare driver and stuff? I understand that this is a problem that a lot of people face, but it's just the idea that this is the regular person is a college grad who has to be a rideshare driver. It's just like, this drives me fucking crazy. 2/3 of people do not go to college. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I don't know what that has to do with eating a sandwich, but okay.
Well, in that movie, there's all this stuff about, we all just like to eat tacos.
Oh, okay.
It's like so fucking. There is like a regular, actual working poor character who's like so not a real character, and he's just like teaches you to appreciate dancing and tacos and stuff. It's very irritating. I don't really know what I'm trying to say with this one, but anyways, comedy doesn't need to make you laugh out loud. Tragedy doesn't need to elicit tears. History doesn't need to teach you anything. And the most important rule: you don't need to enjoy something for it to have been worth your time.
Yes.
As in science, a negative result in an experiment in entertainment tells us as much as a positive result.
Yes, this is what I feel the title of our podcast is getting at, like Kale Your Idols. Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to emulate Pauline Kael's style of reviewing films where she's not just focused on whether she likes something or not. It's often not clear whether or not she likes the movie. She's talking about the individual parts of it. It's okay if you didn't love the movie. There's still lots of value in discussing it. And that's why you got to kale your idols, like don't just...
The goal is the watching.
The goal is the watching and fitting in the experience within the greater context of movies and your emotional life.
Are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Well, I have. Jimi Hendrix. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The point isn't just to be like, oh, I identify with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that represents an idea that I agree with.
Right.
It's just...
That's not the way art works.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Art is different than politics, but they can intertwine.
Do you get what I'm going for with these rules?
Yes, I do. I really appreciate that you did an actual manifesto with stuff that you actually care about.
Thank you. Are you about
As
to not?
opposed to mine.
Okay, so you're about to have half-assed it?
Here's
or?
my manifesto.
Okay, I'm excited.
Sorry, it's different than yours.
No, it's good that they're different.
I am sick of cool young people insisting their artsy ideals on other filmmakers. Now, don't get me wrong. I like all that artistic crap out there. What I don't like is the misplaced self-righteousness of artists telling other artists how they should create art. This manifesto is anti-manifesto.
Okay.
I am tired of overly confident, overly loud, hypocritically conformists acting like their opinion is the only correct opinion. Yelling loudly does not make you cool. Angry shouting is fun, okay? I get it. I'm having a lot of fun right now speaking like this. But the louder you get, the less I listen. Film manifestos are often cool young people complaining about how cinema doesn't have its finger on the pulse of the culture. But I don't want movies to just capture the zeitgeist. I value diversity in art. And I'm not just saying that to virtue signal that I want underrepresented groups to have a voice in film. I do want that. But when I say that I want diversity, I also mean that I want diversity in quality and diversity in coolness. I want cool films and I want lame films. Give me mainstream alongside the art house. I want both. I want it all. So you have something to say? Great. Let your art do the talking. Shut up and make your movie. And I will shut up and watch your movie. And then I'll stop.
Are you actually going to shut up?
And then I'll stop shutting up to discuss your movie on my film podcast. And then you can stop shutting up because I do actually believe in the freedom to express your opinions. And sometimes you can't be polite about it. So I guess you can just ignore this. But just know that if you write a manifesto, I'm not going to think it's cool. I'm going to think it's lame. Okay, thanks. That's all.
Do you want somebody to make a movie about our podcast? To express their art about themselves through making a film about our podcast?
I'm sure they have more interesting things to make a movie about.
Yeah, there's too many things about podcasts. Maybe that was a great manifesto.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. It was fun to shout.
You liked... So this is like... Were you annoyed when I asked you to make a manifesto? Is that what brought that out?
No. I just... I actually genuinely always feel that way when I read a manifesto. And so, like, when you asked me to write one, I'm like, but I don't want to because... I wasn't annoyed, but I was like, that doesn't feel like something I would do.
You would never write a manifesto.
I would never write a manifesto. And then I asked myself why. And then I explored that in my anti-manifesto.
So, yeah, your manifesto was a little bit like Clinton's third way, I guess. Or like what's that? Like you're saying...
like Bill Clinton?
Yes.
Okay.
Like you're saying, like I want to have the establishment exist, and I want it to be subverted at the same time.
I mean, it's not even really about that. I just don't want.
No, I think that's interesting.
I do want mainstream stuff, but right now we have too much mainstream stuff, not enough art stuff. I do think there should be more art stuff right now.
Well, art stuff is too mainstream.
Yeah,
in a way.
that too.
Like, yeah.
But the main thing about my anti-manifesto is I just don't like the self-righteousness of the voice of people who write manifestos.
So do you think that the Oberhausen manifesto is too self-righteous? Because I find it cute. You know what I mean? Like, I find this stuff fun. When I read somebody writing a manifesto, I feel them... I mean, I guess there is a lot of people who are like, I hate anybody over 30. And you know what I mean? Like, but it's like, it feels...
No,
like,
I think they're serious.
It feels like they're trying to, like, get a seat at the table with the people that they already respect to a certain degree.
I think I'm taking them more seriously than you are, and therefore
maybe.
They annoy me more. Because you're saying it's like cute. Oh, look at you trying. Me, I'm just like picturing the kind of person who writes a manifesto, and they usually would annoy me if they feel like their opinion is so correct that they are going to yell at other people about how their opinion is more correct.
Yeah, I guess I feel like with art manifestos, there's a cheekiness that I don't feel with political manifestos.
I mean, I liked that one manifesto we read during the Wanda episode.
Yeah, which that was pretty self-righteous.
Yeah, but it was also kind of like funny.
Yeah. They're always funny.
Like, talked about boobs and stuff. And
manifestos are always a form of art criticism. They're a form of pointing out stuff that you haven't realized has been so present in the stuff you absorb, I think.
Yeah, but I do think that there are manifestos that are taking itself very seriously, too. Oberhausen manifesto is taking itself seriously. The whole new German cinema movement, I love it. Great. I'm happy that it exists. So,
I mean, Herzog is like a funny person to talk about for a second here. I don't know how much we'll ever talk about Herzog. He is such a humorous meme at this point.
Right.
And you wonder if it's always joking. Or if he's taking himself seriously, if he's actually taking himself seriously when he says, like, I just watched this documentary. It's in 1977, and he filmed the cattle auctioneers competition in America. And I mean, he's talking the same way he talks about a bear eating a guy alive. He's like, I find the speed of these auctioneers' speech to be deeply disturbing and upsetting. Like, I mean, it's like, is he joking?
I think he's serious, but I do think he
gets
a playfulness.
Yeah.
I think he is genuine, but he has a playfulness to it. Yeah. I love him.
It's this, I mean, these are all people who exist in a postmodernist framework. Mm-hmm. They have firsthand knowledge of the horrors of mankind, if you will. I guess Wenders is a little humorless. Not humorless, but he's less humorous.
I mean, I thought he was very charming on the commentary track.
He is charming. Yeah. Gentle and sweet.
Yeah.
You know? And like the scene where they're saying that was weird that we clowned around in front of the kids in the shadow. That is genuinely funny.
Yeah, and there was like this cute moment where they're doing like a silly walk together.
Right.
In the movie. And I thought that was nice. There's some gentle humor.
The guy jacking off is pretty funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, the Hitler candle is funny.
I saw 3 different peens in this movie. Because there's a guy jacking off. You got
it's a hard dick.
Rudiger Vulgar.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't seem that hard to me. But...
It was sticking up. Maybe he was just holding it up.
I thought he was just holding it.
Maybe. Okay. Fair enough.
Anyways, and then the guy who plays Lander, what's his name? Let's say.
You see his dick?
Hans Zischler. Yeah, he pees at the end, and you see his dick.
A lot of dicks.
A lot of dicks. Anyways,
a lot of porno discussion.
A lot of porno. Yeah, because
there's you either are like from a porno background or a Nazi background.
Right, because a lot of these like rundown cinemas, the only way they could stay alive was like playing softcore porn films.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Well, the movie kind of opens with this discussion of a guy who is an ex-Nazi. He's one of the theater owners, telling his tragic backstory of how rude they were to ex-Nazis after World War II, right?
But this is like not at all what I picked up on.
Oh, what do you think he was saying?
I thought he was just talking about like the death of the German film culture. Like
no, but he's talking about
Nibelungen, you know.
I thought he was saying he's like, it was so hard. They were really hard on ex-Nazis post-war, and like I had to crawl my way back to respectability from being an ex-Nazi.
I did not pick up on this at all.
You didn't?
The very first scene?
Yeah.
Wow, no.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was. It was, and Vogler is kind of looking at him like, yeah, that sounds hard for you.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, maybe I'm characterizing it, although I doubt it, you know, considering this is a theme that's very close to the surface.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the movie is contemplating post-war Germany and ex-Nazis and things like that.
And the movie ends on this woman theater owner. She's paraphrasing an idea of like, I'm ready to not show movies anymore because they're so shitty and exploitative that I might as well show no movies at all.
Right, and she was a real person.
Right.
She actually refused to show movies at her movie theater because they weren't good enough. They were shitty and exploitative
and porny.
And porny. Yeah.
This porniness was a problem in the German cinema of the time.
These towns they're showing, it's specifically these rundown towns along the border, not necessarily representative of all of Germany at the time.
Border towns, yeah.
But it was, especially shitty towns.
The photographs that are inspiring this cinematic language are photographs of the American Midwest in the Depression. So we're talking about very economically depressed settings. This is a real stagnating moment 15 years or so before German reunification.
Can we talk more about the visual style, since you mentioned the photographs and stuff?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So, cinematographer Robbie Mueller, as we mentioned, it's in black and white. And I like it in this case. Sometimes I don't always like black and white. Sometimes I think it's pretentious, but I think it's really gorgeous. Wenders thought it had a more natural and realistic look than if they went for color, so that's why he chose black and white.
It's trying to evoke a classical Western, because the Road movie is an updated version of a Western to Wenders.
I don't think he was going for a Western on purpose. He said that he accidentally made a Western without horses. And he says that, road movies are like an extension of Westerns, but into the present. But I think that is maybe something he realized after the fact. And it was just more of a subconscious influence.
I mean, Wenders has a real taste for the Western milieu.
That's true. He did mention some of the shots were a shot was pulled from The Searchers.
Yeah.
Another shot was pulled from a Robert Mitchum movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I guess, never mind. Take back what I said.
We're leaving that in.
He says that, he says he accidentally made a Western, but maybe it wasn't as accidental as he says. And he said,
the movie's called King of the Road. Like, it's named after a Roger Miller song.
The movie is called Im Lauf der Zeit. The German title is Im Lauf der Zeit, which is like in the course of time.
Oh.
And it's interesting because in Wrong Move, the second of the Road movies, Wenders is mumbling in his sleep and he says the phrase Im Lauf der Zeit. And he's a writer, so I kind of wonder if there's this implication that maybe he's thinking up the story for this movie as he's sleeping.
Yes.
Just a little nugget there that I thought was interesting. But yeah, also with the visual style, I love all the nighttime scenes.
There's a real dichotomy between the day and the night in this movie. There's a real feeling of exploration during the day. You kind of don't know what's going to happen. And then at night, you need to hunker down and shelter. It's more dangerous and you need to cloister yourself. And it's a more downbeat, depressing feel at night.
You don't actually see that many movies where they have scenes filmed at night. I mean, a lot of the shots are actually just day for night, but Wenders says it works a lot better in black and white than it does in color. Mm-hmm. But then there were other scenes that they shot at twilight under a full moon, and those ones are very lovely. I guess I know what you mean about them needing to shelter at night, but there's also that scene, where they're interacting with that guy whose wife recently died, and they're out exploring at night. He's climbing up this metal structure to see what this noise is. And so that scene felt very exploratory to me.
It's sad, though.
And sad, very sad.
Yeah, as you say, they're using a lot of their environment. I think that there's a lot of detritus, and there's this mixture of decay on screen. People trying to have life, bits of life poking through. I talked about the booth scenes. There's the scene where the ticket taker lady is in a booth, but there's a lot of times where you see a lot of pictures and stuff on a wall.
Yeah, pinup posters.
Pinup posters.
Which a lot of that was just already there.
Right.
In the spaces they were filming in.
It's always full of random gizmos. There's a part where there's a bunch of syringes in this drawer right next to a noose. And those were just there in this projectionist booth.
Yeah, there was just actually just a syringe.
Then you have Rudiger's face coming through the little hole. And there's all these
that
pictures.
Part.
It's a beautiful composition. It's his face and there's all these other posters around him and he just looks like a little poster. I don't really know what I'm trying to say there. But this projectionist thing, did you ever have any experiences as a kid where you got to go back and see a projectionist work?
No. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie projected from film. I think I've only seen digital movies.
Man, that's so sad. I had a vivid memory when I was a kid of I got to go back and push the button on Muppet Treasure Island.
That's amazing.
Start. My dad knew a projectionist.
That's so fun.
And I'll never forget it. It was Muppet Treasure Island was the movie.
Wow.
Not my favorite Muppet movie. I'm not a big Muppet person.
Me neither.
Do you think we'll ever talk about the Muppets?
Well, we're doing it right now.
I mean, do you think we'll ever do the Muppet movie? That's a 79.
Is it?
Yeah, you might have to.
I guess we have to.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to have this dark cloud come over this Wim Wenders discussion. He should have done a Muppet movie.
I mean, he was really into the 3D movement, so he was flexible with some stuff. I don't know if he'd be right for a Muppet movie, though.
Yeah, I guess not.
The truck is cool.
Yes, the truck is a character unto itself.
Yeah, apparently it was really difficult to drive because it involved something called double clutching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had to learn how to drive it.
Yeah.
Rudiger.
And he hated it.
There's times where he's actually just really stressed like actually having to drive to get this take, and he had to get a license to operate it.
It reminded me, like, the whole setup with the cots and the blankets and stuff. It just really reminded me of when I had like a total of 5 months living with my grandparents in their motorhome when we traveled around to national parks out west. And I loved that time, but it was just the blanket. It was such a similar blanket, and the living in small spaces and being very economical with the space you take up. It just gave me such a wave of nostalgia for that life.
How do you feel about The Road? Do you like The Road?
Yeah, I do.
You like it?
I like road movies as long as they're not road movies where the car is slowly being destroyed as it goes along.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. I can't think of a perfect example right now, but there's plenty of movies where somebody's like, okay, I'm going to lend you my car. It's really expensive. Don't let anything bad happen to it. And so then the whole movie, there's a lot of near misses, but then towards the end, the car just becomes totally fucking trashed. And it's such a facepalm moment or whatever. Like, I hate movies like that. I hate when movies devolve into worse and worse and worse shit happening. But as long as the road movie isn't like that, I do like road movies a lot. I also just like road trips in general. I've done a road trip from Pennsylvania to San Diego. I've driven multiple times from Pennsylvania to New Orleans by myself. I like the road. I like eating up mileage, and I like that there's long stretches of road where you don't see anything changing. It's fields that don't change at all, and you're just thinking about life and stuff. It's cool. What about you? Do you like road movies? Do you like the road?
I love a road movie, and I myself, I'm a creature of the road. I love to drive. Sue me. I'm a gas guzzler at heart. I don't want to take the subway all the time. Love listening to tunes. This is so weird because it's like Wim Wenders does clearly have this interest in like the 3-minute pop song, which discovering the Dead, that's really helpful for road trips because you can just put it on and set it and forget it. And this way he's listening to like 45s. He has a portable record player.
And each time he wants to listen to a different song, he has to change it out, right? Isn't that how they work?
Yeah. No, they're singles. He's got to put a new record in. It is amazing, though, the technology that he's got in this van. He's got a jukebox in the van.
Oh, yeah, but it's all the way in the back. He doesn't use it.
No, then he's got a portable record player in the front.
And he's got a little espresso machine up on the side, which I didn't realize what it was. I couldn't tell what he was pouring in there, but apparently it's a tiny little espresso machine.
He has an espresso machine. He's got a little Michelin Man mounted onto the front of the van.
Yeah, Wenders said that was like the mascot of the film, and I barely noticed him.
The whole time I was like, is that a Michelin Man? and because I guess just tires.
Anyways, can we talk about some of the other themes in the movie?
Sure.
Okay, so male friendships. I saw one review talking about how the movie's about how society trains men not to communicate with one another. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's what the movie's about. Like their inability to communicate. It seems like they're both kind of comfortable with the amount of communicating that's happening between them.
The movie's imbued with a certain amount of fear, I think, that you have of when is the one guy gonna leave and go back to his regular life.
Yeah, but like Winters isn't that upset about it. Like there's a couple times where he thinks he leaves and he's like, okay, he's gone.
No, he's not upset about it, but I am. I want them to be buddies.
Yeah.
Even though the one guy doesn't do anything. He's just kind of along for the ride.
Right.
And the other guy, I think he feels like he's being brought headaches by this passenger. Like he doesn't feel like he needed a friend.
No.
But you feel like he needed a friend.
Right. And Landers, Kamikaze, he feels like Winters needed a friend.
Yeah, he's kind of doing it. He's like, I'm helping you by coming along.
Right.
Even though he's obviously the one who's in crisis. Do you want to talk about the fact he's a psychologist? And that he's like psychoanalyzing this guy.
I mean, that didn't come through too much for me. Like
they're making it up as it go along.
Right, exactly.
Like, so,
that's the thing, is when you improvise and make up the movie as you go along, there's going to be less impact. Whatever things you eventually settle on.
Well, because they're playing it off like, oh, he has an aura of mystery. And he says at the beginning, he's like, I'm a sort of a doctor for children. I'm a sort of pediatrician.
Right.
And you're like, sort of pediatrician? What does that mean? And then later on, he's like, well, yeah, I'm a child psychologist. It's like, okay, now I guess I know what you mean by sort of pediatrician. I don't know why you said it that way the first time, but it's obviously because they didn't have an answer to who he was.
Yeah, and there's the scene where they encounter the guy whose wife recently died. Landers is talking to him in the back of the truck about it. And in the commentary track, Wenders is like, okay, and this is the scene where we see him doing his psychologist thing.
Right.
He's giving him a therapy session. And Winters is in the front of the cab listening in, and he's getting to benefit from hearing a therapy session happen. He doesn't normally talk to people, so he's getting an example of what would happen if he talked about his feelings more. I think I'm saying more than Wenders actually did in the commentary track. That was all lost on me. I was not thinking about him being a psychologist in that scene.
I also
But did you think about him being a psychologist at all?
No, their reveals of who they are function like a plot in a way that you never quite need, because it's also scene to scene, and this is just kind of what's happening. I prefer them the blanker they are.
Yeah, me too.
The more they explain themselves, it's like, well, this is just a superimposed structure that you need because it's a movie that's about a linear progression. There is no plot, so it really is just a series of stops. It's a route, and it's an accumulation of props. It's a gradual digging deeper and deeper into your problems. That is the linearity that the movie imposes.
Yeah, but I don't think it needed it. They could have just kept it blank and mysterious. And I don't know, you saying that you prefer when they're more blank, it reminds me of how my taste in men used to be, where I used to really like these mysterious, quiet guys.
Right.
And then I would be involved with them and realize they actually just didn't have anything interesting to say. There was no coolness behind the mystery. Mm-hmm. And the more I learned about them, the less I was interested. And it's maybe a similar thing. Like, mystery goes a long way. And when you're trying to uncover the mystery, if you don't have a clear intention in the beginning when you're making your film, then whatever mystery you uncover is not going to be that interesting.
These are things, though, that are not really detracting from it from me when I'm watching it. This is just like in analysis, and maybe on a rewatch, or maybe having it explained is kind of something where I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I can see I didn't actually need that.
Yeah, because the overall thing that strikes you about the movie when you're watching it is the vibe.
Yes, the vibe. But also, like, what we're talking about, too, it does get tied up a little bit. And it tied into the guy's child psychology thesis, which is all about how children go from learning what letters are into just viewing letters as a mechanism for how to read a word, if I'm saying this right.
Oh, I just turned my brain off when he was talking about
Well, it's like he's talking about, like, he talks to kids about, he's trying to capture this developmental switch that happens with kids where they go from having a kind of synesthesia connected to letters before they really understand their symbolism into the letters having a utility and just being a part of a word. And it's going from looking at the letters as symbols, and it's like, oh, this A to me represents this feeling of going, into an A being a part of the word about. And then he has this conversation with this kid where he's drawing out this kid's observations about the world. And he's like, okay, tell me what you see. And the kid's like, I'm seeing a train station. I'm seeing a train. I'm seeing grass. And you're sort of left in this final sequence with this feeling of wishing you could go back to seeing the world with the blankness of these guys that they had before they really even got to know each other. They kind of wish they kind of know too much, I think, about each other. They have too clear of a picture. So I think it does actually kind of weirdly work, the unsatisfyingness of finding out, quote unquote, about somebody's inner life. Because it's also, you can't really explain your inner life to somebody. It does defy description. So I think the unsatisfying nature of finding out about these people has a weird power. But maybe I'm just up my own ass now. I don't know. But it does work. Like, this analysis makes sense as I'm laying it out.
No, I see what you're saying.
I'm smart.
Yeah. You're very smart.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah, no. I didn't even attempt to think hard about what he was saying there with the
happy
letters.
Birthday to you. You didn't think about the final scene with the kid?
Oh, I liked the final scene with the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that shit.
No, I like that.
And that kid was probably just there.
I like the sunglasses
Just,
thing.
like,
When they're
kid.
wearing those sunglasses, like earlier, the two of them, and then when the kid's wearing it, those sunglasses looked cool.
They were cool sunglasses.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the way that they're writing it, where they're trying to, they'll just try and preserve the sense of mystery for as long as possible and not explain things until they get to the point where it's like, okay, this movie's 3 hours long. Like, we need to have something happen. But like, when they steal the motorcycle from the guy, I do like the part where he's like, I'm going to take your motorcycle now. And the guy's like, what? He's like, you still owe me.
Right.
Thing.
This like hidden backstory.
Yeah, and the guy's like, okay, fine.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, was Landers? Oh, what was he like in his real life?
Yeah.
He's like very willing to just threaten somebody and steal their shit.
It just becomes casual bullying.
Yeah. Did you get homoerotic vibes?
This is like a Persona thing, how it's like anytime there's two women in a movie, it's like, oh, it's like Persona. And anytime there's two men, I guess they're kind of gay, right? Like
I feel like because they were showing so much nudity.
A lot of dick, yeah.
And Winter's character says that he always feels really lonely when he's inside a woman.
Yeah, well, why do you think he got divorced?
Oh, that's the other character, Landers.
Right.
I mean, he still seems hung up on his wife. Like, it doesn't seem like he wasn't interested in his
Speaking
wife.
of hung up, he's trying to call her on the phone.
Exactly. Yes.
It's brilliant. Wordplay that I just did.
Very good. Yeah, you're right, though. It's probably just one of those, like, two men quietly sitting next to each other. They must be gay.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the one guy, he seems... Well, there's always a weird thing with Vogler's character in this and women. Because, like, he's sort of weirdly impotent in Wrong Move.
Right.
Or it's like the women, like, he's, like, obsessed with this woman, but he can't ever touch her.
Yeah.
And because of his writing.
Right. Instead, he, like, sleeps with the young girl.
Natasha Kinski,
Yeah.
Klaus Kinski's daughter.
What? No way.
Yes.
I did not realize that.
And Wim Wenders' collaborator. She's, the wife in Paris, Texas and stuff.
Oh.
I believe I actually mentioned her on a previous episode when we were talking about Easy Riders Raging Bulls, and I called her, I was like, her name is, like, she's some chick or whatever, and I'm like, it's Natasha Kinski, what was I talking about? Because she, was in Paul Schrader's Cat People, and he shot a beaver shot that she was really mad about.
Oh, I see.
Just to reiterate a disgusting anecdote that I told in a different episode. But yeah, there's like this kind of, you're getting saddled with young kids.
Yeah.
Thing.
Like there's an actress who she plays the movie theater ticket taker who Winters is involved with. I think she's in all three of the road movies, and in all three of them she plays like a single mom who has a kid. Because I think she's the mom of Alice in Alice of the City.
Right.
And then she's also in the beginning of Wrong Move.
Right. Okay.
Where she's wearing like she works at a bar or something.
Sure.
Anyways, he's just always like sleeping with these women who have kids, and the kids kind of get in the way, whether or not they're present in the movie.
Well, yeah, this is a theme across all these movies. It's like parents and children and these troubled relationships.
And resulting loneliness from everything.
Yeah. And there's a kind of a thing with, like at first I would say with Kamikaze, before you find out he's a child psychologist, you're a little bit like, what's his deal? Because he kind of has these moments where he's going up to kids and being
there's a lot of kids in the movie,
being a little creepy. But then you find out later, it's like, oh no, he's just good with kids. I guess is the idea. Like it's like, no, he's not a pedophile. He's just has a genuine academic interest in children.
It's just funny because like they didn't know he was a child psychiatrist until they wrote it that way. So they were just, I don't know, randomly having him interact with kids.
And I think they were just finding these kids around and shooting them in this film that's got a guy taking a shit in it.
Kids are cinematic.
Yeah, they
are. Improv.
Yeah, they're like they're like cats.
And yeah, they're just like doing their own shit, and you can just capture them on film.
Famously a little unpredictable, but I guess that's what they're... This movie doesn't... They're clearly not shooting a million takes.
Oh, well, they're not shooting a million takes, but they did shoot a fuck ton of film. They shot 49,000 meters of film.
And all chronological.
All chronological, and the final cut was 4,700 meters. So they shot 10 times more film than they used. Maybe that's normal for making films, but I don't know. It seems like a lot.
It's a lot of meters, yeah. New Hollywood aspects.
Well, it's not a new Hollywood movie.
Oh, well, never mind that.
But, it has the influence in New Hollywood with, like, Cassavetes influencing Wim Wenders.
It feels like an 80s movie to me.
Yeah, I totally see that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got Bogdanovich, it's got Easy Rider,
all that. Doing the road movies, doing the silent male hero thing.
Yeah, but
pushing the boundaries.
Would you call these anti-heroes?
Yeah, I would call them anti-heroes.
I don't know if they really do enough of positive or negative behavior to really be anti-heroes.
I would call them, they're kind of like Western guys. They're more like a Western. Yeah, it's like a neo-Western.
Yeah, well, this is that European thing where they're kind of more influenced by American stuff. And I think a lot of the new Hollywood people are more influenced by European stuff. Right.
Wenders said on the commentary track of this movie, he said, sometimes Germany really looks like America. At least if you wanted to, as I did in this case. So he's, going for an American look with this movie. So yeah, it's not a new Hollywood film, but it still is in conversation with New Hollywood, exists alongside of it, and is influenced by it. Yeah. And it's, the improvisation aspect is like pushing the boundaries, non-traditional narrative.
Wenders had already made an American film, or film in America. The Goalkeeper's Fear of the Penalty Kick. So it's like his first movie was a German movie, and then he went and did an American movie.
His first movie was like, he made it in film school in Germany. It was his graduate project.
And then he goes to America and makes this Goalkeeper movie. And then his next movie is Alice in the Cities, which is all about German coming from America to Germany. And then he makes a movie about a guy in Wrong Move, a guy consciously taking a journey across Germany that is mirroring Goethe, who's a German classical writer. Mm-hmm. And I would say Kings of the Road then is a real marrying of these different sensibilities. Mm-hmm. A journey along, pointedly, the Western and Westernized side of Germany, of the German, East-West German border.
It's the east side of Western Germany.
Yes, but he's in West Germany, yeah. and a very Westernized Germany. There was a big climactic scene where they go and they have it out with each other in a small enclosure that has all this graffiti from American GIs from World War II.
Yeah, it was like a U.S. outpost.
And they're drinking Jack Daniels.
Right. And they're just like reading off the names of American cities that are scrawled on the inner walls.
Right. So, I mean, this movie is about a Western influence on Europe.
Yeah, Winters is reading a Faulkner book. And he's reading it because it was Wenders' favorite book at the time.
Right.
I really appreciate in the commentary track that he says the name of the book, because that's always the shit I want to know,
Same.
So the American influence is there, not just because he thought it'd be like an artistic choice, but because there was an American influence on Western Germany at the time and on Wenders, and he wanted to capture that.
There's motorcycles. Yeah. There's a motorcycle with a sidecar in it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Would you ever want to ride in a sidecar?
I don't know if I trust anybody enough for that.
Yeah, but it feels like it would make it safer. Just the fact that the sidecar is there. Like
I don't think it is, because I think that you have to lean differently. It's like a lot easier to tip over.
You have to lean counterintuitively too, right?
Right.
We both learned this from the commentary track.
We did.
Sidekicks. Are sidekicks an American thing?
Okay, I think we've established.
We're spinning our wheels?
We're spinning our wheels.
Okay.
I think it's time for the Cold Stone rating.
Okay. On the Cold Stone, we have a strict set of rules. Cold Stone Creamery. It's like it, love it, and they gotta have it. That's sort of the rankings that we like to have on our podcast. Or we say it does not make the scale. Achtung. So, Kings of the Road. Do you want to rate all of the Road trilogy?
Oh, sure.
So, we start with Alice in the Cities? Do you want to rate every Wim Wenders movie we've seen?
Okay.
Okay. Paris, Texas.
Like it.
Like it?
I know, but I got to revisit it.
Man, gotta have it all the way.
See, okay.
Harry Dean Stanton, man.
This is the thing. I feel like your ratings are going to be higher than mine, but in aggregate, I love Wim Wenders, and he's a gotta have it director. Just keep that in mind.
He is a love it director for me.
Interesting.
Yes.
we're swapped. Okay. Let's do Wings of Desire, even though I haven't finished it.
It's a gotta have it too.
It's a gotta have it. I assume.
Yeah, you can safely assume. Do you know there's a sequel to Wings of Desire? It says your favorite angels are back is the tagline.
Did Wenders direct it?
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be good. I'd never even heard of it until I was looking up the shit. Perfect Days.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's a love it. It might be a love it because
Really?
I like the toilets.
The toilets
They're
are pretty
interesting.
great.
Like I really like seeing Japan in the movie, but it's probably just a like it.
I think it's barely a like it for me.
It's a like it for me, solidly. But
I felt like that was him playing the hits, toilets and all. I mean, after just haven't seen this movie,
because the shitting.
I mean, how can you top that with just somebody going into a booth and you not even seeing the shit come out? Alice in the Cities.
Well, I'll rate Pina because I've seen that one too. Like it.
Great. I love how you said somebody dances to Rites of Spring, and that was cool. It's like, yeah, it's a ballet.
The whole movie is dancing, if I remember correctly.
Well, I'm saying Rites of Spring is a ballet.
Yeah, but some people just listen to the music on its own.
Yeah, like me. Do you listen to the music on its own?
Sometimes if I want to get fucking amped.
It does get you going. Okay.
Okay, Alice in the Cities.
Alice in the Cities. I feel like it's a love it. I don't really remember that one very well. What? What are you? You're giving me a look right now.
I don't know if it makes my scale.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, does it not make my scale either? Should I retract this? Maybe I'll go back to love it.
What?
Just
You're deciding between love it or it doesn't make your scale?
I don't really remember it that well.
You should.
If you're
say
saying
like
doesn't
it.
make the scale,
you should say
then
like it and play it safe.
Yeah, I'll say like
But
it.
you know what I really like in that
What?
movie is Rüdiger Vogler's outfits. He's wearing like these cool like flared pants with these heeled shoes, and it just feels very German.
He's playing like a hipster in that movie.
Yeah.
Like he's playing a guy who's self-consciously cool.
Yeah.
Wrong move.
I'm gonna say like it.
Yeah,
but
like it.
Kind of barely like it.
It's a movie that's very what you imagine a German movie it's kind of eating your vegetables a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
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 King's of the Road.
Love it.
It's got to have it for me. The shitting scene alone. It's automatically a gotta have it.
Because of that shit.
A shitting scene and a boner where he jacks off in a fucking projectionist booth. A Hitler candle.
The Hitler candle was amazing because that candle was just actually there at this fair that they went to.
Yeah, they would just sell that shit.
Yeah. Like
A little weird, man.
yeah.
At the carnival for children.
Yeah. Kids could win a Hitler candle.
I mean, you're burning his face, so is that meant to be?
I didn't think it looked like Hitler that much.
Also, a guy sucks in the butane from a lighter in this movie.
Oh, that was cool.
Speaking of fire.
That was cool. And he just did that. Apparently he was just this hipster dude. Or cool
Yeah.
dude. He had a cool jacket.
He had a cool jacket, and he did that, which was very odd looking.
I didn't know if that was a thing people did.
It's not a thing I've ever done. And I've done some weird stuff with objects. It's a gotta have it for me, King's of the Road, for sure.
That's great. I'm glad. It was a gotta have it when I first watched it.
Oh, that's sad. Sorry, your birthday surprise was deranking.
That's okay. That's
movie.
okay.
Okay.
I still love it.
You're very finicky.
I am finicky. And I hope one day I'll watch it again and it'll become a gotta have it.
Do you think you were just too sleepy?
No, I really do think like knowing that it was improvised affected it.
I think I watched this movie before on a 4x speed, probably. It's a 3-hour-long movie,
Yeah.
as we've said. I don't think that much was lost.
But the pacing of it is part of the experience.
And yet, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not like a John Dielman. It's not like a fucking Chantal Akerman thing.
You haven't even fucking seen Jean Dielman.
But this is where I'm saying it's not quite slow cinema. It's spinning its wheels by design.
Because they're driving.
Because they're just making it up. And it doesn't feel... They're literally spinning their wheels to get from point A to point B. But I feel... These movies aren't very sticky. As you can tell, I barely remember anything about Alice in the Cities. Okay?
No, but the thing is, if I had watched it on 4x speed, I wouldn't remember Kings of the Road. But because I watched it at 1x speed, 10 years or 12 years later, I remembered
liking it more than you actually liked it.
No, I liked it at the time. I loved it at the time. No,
You would have loved it more had you watched it at 4x speed this time.
No, it was the gentleness and the peacefulness. And if you're watching at 4x speed, it's not fucking peaceful.
No, but it still is, though.
We'll agree to disagree on this.
I'm just saying I think some movies can hold their structure better at 4x speed than others. This one has a lot of pop songs in it that probably got a little warped from that, but...
You didn't remember watching it at 4x speed.
And I still won't remember exactly what happens in it soon after the end of this podcast, I predict.
Yeah, but I think you'll remember the experience of watching it.
Yeah, you're right. It's important... Every movie that I watched at 4x speed, I hope I someday watch at regular speed. I hope and I pray that I get the chance to watch a movie every once in a while.
Well, that concludes another exciting new Hollywood adventure. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Kale Your Idols on the podcatcher of your choice. Please take the time to leave a rating or review. It is very helpful for small podcasts like ours. Do it as a birthday present for Sam and I. Just leave us a little review. We'd love to hear from you, so please reach out to us on Instagram or send us an email to kaleyoridols@gmail.com. We want to say thank you to the Illuminator for our logo and thank you to ourselves for everything else. Please join us next episode where we will be discussing Jack Nicholson. Specifically, we will be talking about the movies Nicholson made in 1975 because that was a particularly productive year for him. Obviously, 1975 is the year when he made One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the movie that earned Nicholson his first Academy Award for Best Actor. We will only briefly be talking about his performance in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because we will dedicate an entire episode to Cuckoo's Nest sometime in the future. We will primarily be discussing the other 3 movies he made in 1975, which were Tommy, the famous British rock opera where he has a small role, The Passenger, directed by Italian auteur Michelangelo Antonioni, and The Fortune, starring Nicholson and Warren Beatty and directed by New Hollywood royalty Mike Nichols. So that should be a fun episode, diving into the old Jackie Nicholson. I'm sure that's what his friends call him.
Jackie. Jackie.
Tune in.
Hey, Peter Fonda, noted friend of Jack Nicholson. How did we do?
We blew it.